Middlesex made the most of the improved batting conditions on the second day of their LV County Championship match with Lancashire at Lords, with Sam Robson, Darvin Milan, Owen Morgan and Neil Dexter all amongst the runs to put their side well on top at the halfway stage of this match. Middlesex removed their opponents for 266 on the first day, but found themselves on 1 for 1 in the second over of their reply when Chris Rogers was taken down the leg side of what was only Carl Hogg's second delivery of the summer. Hogg delivered a good opening spell from the pavilion end and was close to also bagging the wicket of Robson with a good shout for LBW. Robson survived, however, and then started to make solid progress with Milan as his partner. The sun was out, and over the years that always has made batting a little easier at the home of cricket. Milan was soon making the most of those conditions with some sublime cover drives, while Robson employed his square cut, which over time is starting to remind some of Robin Smith, who used to hit the ball like a tracer bullet through point. Milan should have been taken, though, by Paul Horton in the slips off Hogg before he'd done too much damage. He got away with the thick edge on 34, and he and his partner then began to make their opponents pay for that moment of profligacy. Middlesex have had an up and down season so far, with 2 very good wins at Lords against Nottinghamshire and Yorkshire, and 2 defeats on the road at Hove and Edgbaston. Back at home, these 2 were just starting to bat their side into another good position as they carried their partnership into 3 figures. Both men made 50s. Robson was there first off his 88th delivery. He struck 8 fours in what was another impressive knock from the opener, who's made a fine start to this new and important campaign for him. With each knock, a place in the England side appears to get ever nearer. For a man who looks so good at the crease, recent scores of note have not been forthcoming for Milan. He had a top score of just 61 last year, a year when he raised his bat only twice in 19 championship innings. This shot took him to his first half-century of this season. He arrived at that point off his 97th ball, from which he'd found the fence on 10 occasions. Perhaps the best way for Lancashire to break this stand was with a run-out, and that's exactly what happened. It was a risky run, and Robson was beaten by Lewis Rees's direct hit in spite of the dive. Robson was gone for 51. So Morgan came in with his team on 108 for 2 and trailing by 158. He was soon producing some gorgeous strokes as Middlesex tried to bat themselves into a winning position in their first innings. They will know more than anyone how batting improves as each hour passes at Lords, or at least has done thus far this year. The aim then would be to get an imposing first innings total to at least bat Lancashire out of contention, leaving them to bat a second time to save the game. After all, what kind of target is defendable these days at this ground? Milan was now moving towards his first 100 for some considerable while Morgan settled in fairly quickly as this pair added 73 more runs in 21 overs together. It took another run out to break the stand. This time it was Milan who was out, setting off a fraction late to be easily beaten by Ashwell Prince's throw. Milan would doubtless have been fuming to go just 8 runs short of a deserved 100. So 2 run-outs and a strangle down the leg side with a new ball were the only wickets Lancashire managed, and that remained for the rest of the day, a day in which 10 overs were lost to rain at the end. This is Morgan getting to his 50, which had used up 76 deliveries from those he'd struck 8 fours. Perhaps too many times Middlesex's middle order faces some criticism, and they're often blamed when the side has one of its collapses. No one could criticise the efforts on this occasion, as Morgan and his new partner Neil Dexter put their team ahead with only 3 wickets lost. Dexter, fresh from his career best performance with the ball on the previous day, was now adding valuable runs to the total too. This shot off Simon Carrigan carried the distance. Morgan was close to being bowled late on before the rain arrived. Glenn Chappell found the right amount of movement only for the ball to bounce a fraction over the stumps. So it was Middlesex's day in the end, and one which has now put them in control of this contest. With Morgan on 76 and Dexter on 44, the home side have moved on to 275 for 3, and that gives them a 9-run lead going into the penultimate day. Lancashire certainly need early wickets on day 3, while Morgan is 24 runs away from his first championship 100 for 5 years.